The Crown of the Marshlands, a story of wings, water, and hope. In the heart of western Kenya, where the rising sun glimmers across flooded grasslands and the mist curls around papyrus stems, lives a creature of rare beauty and deep symbolism, the crowned crane. Known as the Queen of the Marsh, this bird isn't just a symbol of grace. It's a barometer of the health of an entire ecosystem. Where crowned cranes thrive, life thrives. Where they vanish, the land sickens. This is a story of people and cranes, of survival and change, of those who dared to heal what was broken and paid the price for it. Part 1. The Man Who Planted a Future. Our story begins with Daniel Okello, a farmer born on the edge of Siwa Swamp, one of Kenya's smallest and most remarkable national parks. Siwa covers just 3 square kilometers, but it shelters wonders. Shy Sitatunga antelopes that glide through floating reeds, Brazza's monkeys with bearded faces like forest ghosts, and, of course, the crowned cranes, golden-crowned dancers of air and water. Daniel grew up hearing their calls at dawn, haunting, trumpet-like cries that marked the rhythm of the seasons. To the people of Siwa, the cranes were sacred, often featured in dances, ceremonies, and stories. But by the time Daniel became a man, the music had quieted. Fields expanded. Forests fell. The swamp began to shrink. Every year, the cranes came later, Daniel recalled. And every year, fewer came back. So he decided to act, though he was just one man with a hoe and a vision. He began replanting trees on the swamp's edges, first alone, then with neighbors. If we fix the trees, maybe we can fix the water, he said. Soon, his small idea grew into a local movement. He founded the Siwa Harmony Project, supported by a handful of villagers and a few conservationists who believed in his cause. Their goal? To prove that people and cranes could live side by side, if both were given the chance. His wife, Amina, joined him. She turned their modest home into a classroom, teaching children how to identify bird calls, plant seedlings, and respect the swamp's delicate balance. They started with just 50 saplings. Today, over 30,000 trees have been planted, native fig, acacia, croton, and wild olive, creating natural corridors that reconnect the swamp to the surrounding farmland. Part 2. The Dancers of the Wetlands. To understand the cranes is to understand the land itself. The gray-crowned crane, Balearica regulorum, is one of Africa's most iconic birds, instantly recognizable by its golden crown of feathers, bright red throat pouch, and graceful black-tipped wings. Unlike most cranes, it perches in trees, thanks to its long hind toe, and prefers wetlands bordered by grasslands and farms. Their courtship is a spectacle of rhythm and emotion. Pairs bow to each other, leap into the air, flap their wings, and trumpet in unison, a performance so precise it could be mistaken for a ballet. These displays strengthen their lifelong bonds. But behind the dance lies danger. Kenya's crowned crane population has plummeted by nearly 80% in the last 40 years. Wetlands are being drained for agriculture, and human settlements have sprawled into their breeding grounds. The birds feed on seeds, insects, frogs, and small mammals, the same creatures that thrive in farmlands, so they often wander into fields, where their eggs and chicks become vulnerable to predators and disturbance. One nest might take weeks to build, hidden deep in reeds, but a single intrusion, a passing cow, a curious child, can destroy it in seconds. As Daniel and his team began restoring the swamp, they faced these challenges daily. But they also discovered surprising alliances. Local farmers realized that the cranes helped control pests. Cattle herders noticed that replanting reeds improved water retention. Slowly, the crane's return became a point of pride rather than annoyance. Part 3. The Woman Who Gave Her Life to the Marsh. Into this fragile balance stepped Dr. Elise Novak, a young wildlife biologist from the University of Nairobi. Passionate and relentless, Elise had studied cranes in Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia before hearing about Daniel's project in Siwa. When she arrived, she was captivated by the landscape, by the people, and by the birds. She joined forces with Daniel and Amina, helping them map the wetlands and identify key breeding zones. Her research revealed that Siwa's cranes were not just surviving, they were adapting. Some had shifted their feeding habits, others were nesting earlier in the season to avoid floods. Elise called them the most intelligent survivors in feathers. Together, they created a community wetland plan, the first of its kind in Kenya, balancing conservation, farming, and education. They trained farmers to harvest reeds sustainably, built fish ponds stocked with tilapia using filtered swamp water, and established tree nurseries with both fast-growing exotic species for firewood and slower native ones for long-term soil health. But the story turned tragic. In the middle of the wet season, Elise contracted cerebral malaria while conducting night surveys. Despite being airlifted to Eldoret Hospital, she passed away within a week. She was only 32. The news broke Daniel's heart and the community's, but her legacy endured. The people renamed the reforested section of the swamp Elise Marsh, planting 500 trees in her memory. Her final research paper, published posthumously, became a cornerstone for wetland conservation policy across East Africa. Part 4. The dance goes on. Years later, the cranes are dancing again. Each morning, the air fills with their cries as they rise from the swamp in pairs, graceful silhouettes against the burning gold of sunrise. Their reflections shimmer on the water like living crowns of fire. Tourists now visit Siwa to see them, bringing income that supports schools, roads, and medical centers. The once forgotten swamp has become a national symbol of resilience, proof that harmony between people and nature isn't a dream, but a choice. And Daniel, now older and gray like the cranes he protects, still walks the same trails each morning. He watches the birds take flight and whispers, "Where the cranes exist, there is life." Because he knows that their survival is not just about birds, it's about water, community, and the spirit of coexistence. The crowned cranes of Siwa are more than just a species. They are living ambassadors of hope, proof that when humanity listens to the rhythm of nature, both can rise, crowned together under the same sky.